Okay, all right, everyone, happy Tuesday. We're gonna get you going on an upper body strength and conditioning session. Today, on this fine Tuesday, we're gonna get you started with a warm-up. You do not need any equipment for the warm-up. As a matter of fact, we're gonna start you off right away, swinging out your arms. A couple things you will need for today is this chair. You see it over here. We're gonna be using it for some of our movements, and then your dumbbells and your loop bands. Those are the pieces of equipment we are going to use today. The other thing that you can incorporate is your TRX. So if you have it, if you want to set it up and use it for some of our rowing exercises, you know it's a great option. So we'll pause that arm swing, palms facing down to the floor. We'll start going in our circles, keeping them small. We'll count 10 in one direction. Little ones, the ones that start to get the shoulders burning, because we know that's the goal for this warm-up. 10 of them, and then we'll stop and we'll do 10 in the other direction. Again, keeping the arms straight, palms down, chest up nice and high. Breathing as the shoulders start to burn. We'll relax those arms down by our sides for this next one, where we're going to keep the arms down and go through 3 big circles. Up to the ears, behind the ears, away from the ears, and 3 of them. And then we'll stop and go 3 the other way. Arms extended. You can keep your fingertips reaching down to the floor to keep those arms long. 3 and 3. And then we're going to take it down to the floor for the next one, which is going to give us a nice opening dynamic stretch through the upper and mid back, hands and the knees. We're in our all 4 position. We're going to take one hand and thread our needle, reaching this hand through, feeling a nice big opening stretch in that upper back of the shoulders. Inhaling here, and then we'll exhale. Use our breath to open up, following the hand with eyes. 10 reps on each side. Again, opening up the shoulders, upper back, and then exhaling, trying to squeeze the shoulders together, reaching that arm above the head without moving the legs or the hips. So we want to make sure that we're not shifting or tilting in the hips. 10 over here. And then we'll switch and we'll do 10 on the other side. Same idea with trying to spread the shoulders. Exhaling, following the hand with the eyes so that you're actually looking in the direction that that hand is going. 10 and 10. This one always feels nice to do, especially first thing in the morning. I haven't done too much before this, maybe for the upper body. Once you're finished that, don't go anywhere, because we're going to stay down here for some of our scapula retractions and protractions, or push-ups, less technical. We're going to squeeze the shoulder blades together, and then exhale and spread them apart as far as we can. Even if you think you can't go further, let's try to spread them a little more. And then again, we'll inhale, squeeze, exhale, try to spread those shoulder blades. 10 reps total. Again, trying to make this range as big as possible without bending the elbows. It can be sometimes a little tricky at first, so just watch your arms. Good morning, coordination, brain and body. 10 reps total. As we finish up those ones, we are standing back up to the top, and we're going to go back through those arm swings. This time you can count them. Palms stay down. We'll do 20 reps total, trying to open up the chest. So we'll send those arms behind the body a little bit more than we did at the beginning, feeling that opening stretch happening as we reach the arms back, and we're not forcing anything. It just naturally happens as we go through our reps. 20 reps total. And then I have my list. I always have like the first 5 memorized. Yes, okay. So the last one that we are going to do, we're going to get some wrist circles going. So you can just keep your arms relaxed down by the sides. We're going to circle out our wrists to the full range that we have in one direction. So I'm trying to keep my arms straight. We'll go through 5 circles, feeling that sort of stretching feeling around the forearms, elbows, and maybe a little bit in the hands. We'll go through 5 one way, 5 the other, and then for the very last one, we are going back down onto the floor. And this one's another one that's about the wrist, as today's a Tuesday. And on Tuesdays, we, drum roll, practice our push-ups. So this one's going to get our wrist and body ready for these push-ups back in our all 4 position. We'll rock over top of our fingertips and then come back so that our shoulders are in line with our wrists. Over the fingertips, feeling that stretch down the back of the forearms. If you're not really feeling that stretch, you can walk your hands slightly closer to your body. we want to make sure that our whole palm stays down on the floor. So the palm's not lifting. If it is lifting, maybe you've gone a little too far, or maybe your hands are a bit too close. So you can adjust as needed. We'll go through 10 of these. And then one more. Don't get too excited about standing up yet. We're going to turn the palms so that they're facing, or the hands so that they're like this. And then we'll rock side to side. So again, just hitting a different range, getting that nice dynamic stretch and movement around the wrists, the forearms. There and back is 1. We'll do 5 total. So you can rock back 5 times. There we are. Same idea. We want to keep the wrist down. A stretchy stretch. There we are. As you finish those ones up, you can stand back up to the top. And we are going to get you moving on our first 2 exercises. So our first official movement is actually going to be back down there. It's a variation of push-up. We are going to talk a little bit about the second one, though, as you might need to set up for it. We're going to be working with a single double row. So ideally, we will want to use dumbbells for this first one. We're going to be in this bent over position here, going through 1, 2, and then both arms. So we have a single, and a double. Now we're going to start with the push-ups, but I just want you to get yourself ready with your weights for that one so that we can go right into it when we are finished our first set of push-ups. So I'll remind you of the reps, or I'll tell you the reps rather, when we get there. But for the first one, we're going to head on down to the floor for a push-up to shoulder tap. So these push-ups are much more focused on our shoulder stability and our core. What we're going to do is start in our normal push-up position, set ourselves up like so, go down into the push-up, and then exhale, come up and tap over to a shoulder. That's 1. We go back down, exhale, push up, and then I tap over to the other. That's 2. So I'm counting every tap, every push-up. We're doing 6 to 8. You have a little range there. You can stop at 6, or you can add those extra 2 spicy reps and go for 8. So do your first set right now. Pick your poison, whether you want to do 6 or 8, or maybe stop right in the middle and do 7. But this first set here is really going to set your standard for what you're going to do for the next 3. For those of us who are still working on our full body push-ups, or who find that that shoulder tap really, is really too challenging, we can do this one from the knees, go through that push-up, and then same shoulder tap at the top. And it's going to be a lot more manageable for you to go through your reps and keep them all even and consistent. So once we're finished that, we I already gave you a little pre-warning, grabbing onto our dumbbells, hip width apart in the feet, soft knees will hinge the hips back. So we're in this strong bent over position. One arm's going to row, put it back. Other arm is going to row, put it back. And then we have both coming in, and we'll count just the doubles. So that was 1. And then now I go again, right, and then left, and that's 2. So I'm only counting that double rep. We're going through 6 total. Okay, so 3 halfway there. So you can go through your first official set of these rows. Now for those of us who are working with bands instead of dumbbells, we're going to pull in one side of the band, other side, and then both in that same fashion that we are using dumbbells in. Okay, so this is you. What we're going to do now is go right into our second set. Maybe a couple deep breaths. Okay, get yourself mentally prepared to go through these push up to shoulder taps, because they are much harder than they look probably. We're doing again 6 to 8 total. So whatever you did on your first set, we're going to try to get again. But that being said, you always have that range, 6 to 8 reps. So you can stop anywhere in there, depending on how you feel. Remember, we want to stop before those get ugly, before you start to do the worm. We don't want to our core. And always, again, have that option to go down onto the knees if we need to. Another thing that influences this push-up to shoulder tap is the width of our feet. You can play around with how wide or how narrow your feet are, especially as we come up onto that one hand. So we're essentially holding sort of like a one-arm plank situation. And we know in the planks that the wider the feet, the more supported we'll feel. But it just depends on you. So you can, again, try stepping your feet a little bit wider, a little bit more narrow, and see if that helps you be more successful in these push-up to shoulder taps. because we have 2 more rounds because we're doing 4 sets total. Alrighty, so again, we'll go into our rows. We want to keep, again, the palms facing each other. When we pull in and slightly around the ribs. So we don't want to feel our arm touching our body or our ribs. We want to pull in and around so that we can really feel your back working, creating that 90-degree angle in the arm. We do a little shoulder check. It is there. Okay. Again, we're doing 6 total. And the single and the double equals 1. Very nice, my friends. Okay, so we have 2 more sets. Same idea with the rest. We are going to try our best to limit it as much as possible, although I get it. Going into those push-ups, I know how you're feeling. But remember, 2 more rounds, and then we are done with push-ups for today. The fancy shoulder tap. All right, so we'll get going here in our 3rd set. So reminder for those of us who are working on the knees, because that might be some of us, because again, these ones are much more challenging than our regular push-ups. And even those of us who have mastered the push-up, we can do at least 5 in a row. This one still might be a serious struggle for us because again, we're involving that one arm stability and so much core. So if you are choosing to do this one on the knees, make sure that the hips are staying down in this position and not reaching up to the ceiling like so. Again, we'll go through the push-up. And then same idea with the knees. If we need to widen them up slightly, it might help our case in keeping that hip position more stable. Okay, so we'll really think about that if we need a little assistance here in this set and or in the last one. Yes, there we are. The shoulder tap. Now, on the flip side, I know I've been talking a lot about making these easier because they are very challenging, demanding exercise. But for those of us who are feeling good, maybe you're doing the 8, maybe a very strong 6, if you are looking to make your final set a little bit more challenging because you do have 1 more, if you take a little longer in that shoulder tap, so go through your push-up, and then we can pause that shoulder tap. Not only is, again, everything in your upper body having to work way harder because you're holding it, you're going to get a lot of extra core work as well. So if that's something that you would like, maybe a bit of a challenge for your final set, you can have a 1 to 3 second count on that pause. So hold 1, 2, maybe even 3 seconds if you're ambitious on this final set. And you probably already know how you're going to feel, but it might just be that extra little bit that you need to really feel challenged by this. And that's not all of us. That is just some of us. Okay, so we'll get this final set in. We have about 2 minutes, just under that, to finish up this last round. So we will try to get going on it. We have not started already. Again, 6, followed by that single, double, 6. And again, I like to always give you this warning or this reminder that this is all of the push-ups that we have for today. So, woohoo! Get them done. All right. So we'll work through this final set. Very nice. Awesome. As you do come to the end of these 2, we will grab some water once we're finished. Woo! Think about how good we feel that we are done the push-ups. We're also going to get set up for the next part, which is going to require our chair or our actual training bench, if we have one, maybe our ottoman or something to elevate us. That being said, of course, I have options for those of us who don't have a chair. But we're going to set up here for a 1-arm row with the support of our knee and our hand on this bench / chair, whatever you are using. So as you finish up your final set of those rows, you can set yourself up for this. I'm going to give you guys just about 45 seconds, maybe a little longer if you need, to finish up your last set of these rows. And then we will, you grab a bit of water, because there was no rest in between those two. And then we'll get ourselves set up here, ready to row. Again, for those of us who do not have a chair or bench, the reason why we're using this first exercise, that is to give us that additional support for our core and our low back. So if you don't have this, what you can do instead is just use your body weight, and then we'll take this hand here and we'll put it on this knee so that we still get that support here rather than having this hand out. That means we're working the core a lot. So we'll go like this instead of being on our bench or chair like this. Okay, so let's get you started on this next Suppa set. We're gonna have 2 movements paired together. The first one, I already talked about it, is a 1-arm row. We're doing a single arm rotational row. So we're gonna start with the palm facing the leg, and then we're rowing it and rotating so that the palm faces the ribs. I'm going to double up my dumbbells like so. So I have a nice heavy 16-pounder compared to my single 8s. And I'll row and rotate, wrapping that shoulder behind my ear. Again, trying to create that 90-degree angle, clearing the ribs so that I'm not tucking my arm onto the body. We're going through 12 reps total at our normal tempo. So 2 seconds in, 2 seconds out. If your weights are a little on the light side, we can add that 1 second pause at the top. But besides that, we'll just get up there and we'll leave, getting a nice squeeze on our back every single rep. So again, if you are without chair, you're bent over, hand on the leg, and then same 1-arm rotational row, which can also very well be done with our loop bands. So if you don't have dumbbells, and or if they're maybe a little light or a little heavy, depending on what you have, you can always use your bands instead. Alrighty, so this is our first one, the rotational rows. We're gonna pair this with another upper body exercise. I already warned you. Of course, we'll get that done on both sides first, and then we are gonna dip it out with some bench dips. So today, we're gonna crank it up a notch, add a little bit more core into it by lifting up one of our legs as we go through our dips. We're doing 12 total, which means 6 with this leg lifted and then 6 with this leg lifted. Now, same rules apply. Straight legs is harder. Same leg lifted. It can either be bent or straight. Okay, we're gonna feel a little bit of work in the quads as we go through that one. 12 total, 6 with the one side, 6 with the other. Again, for those of us who are chairless, benchless, whatever it is, we're gonna do our wall tricep extension, this guy here, with that same lifted leg to involve our core. It's a little wobbly, a little unstable. That's what we're going for on this one. Again, 6 with the one leg up. Am I cut off there? No, 6 with the other leg up. There we go. So let's start this first set of the second movement here. And then we're going to do it again, as you probably presumed, 3 more rounds total. So we have 4 sets as we go. Little to no rest between the 2. Again, once we finish those dips, those ones are always really challenging. We'll go back into the rows. You know, we're feeling quite worked in the upper body. Again, we'll work through 12 reps of that 1-arm rotational row on both sides. We want to be very active in our upper back, just like we practiced in the warm-up, that shoulder blade retraction, protraction, pulling and spreading the shoulder blades together and apart. That's what's going on here. So as we row in, we really want to pull and squeeze that shoulder blade back. And then as we let it out, we can allow that arm, that shoulder to come forward. So we get lots of movement through that shoulder blade area. And we involve it as well as that big back muscle that I'm always talking about. And then as we get to the dips, it's all about our triceps, and we have a little bit of sneaky chest work in it as well. Those push-up muscles, but different than push-ups. As we are going through this, we want to remember that we have to set the shoulder blades back and together like so, rather than having them sort of loosey-goosey in the front here, rolling forward. Doesn't look good, doesn't feel good, the shoulders don't like it. So we want to pull them back and keep them back as we go through that set. And if we can't keep the shoulders back, then maybe we'll bend the legs a little bit more. So we'll go through, again, that Second set, 12, 6 with a leg up, 6 with a leg up, which is surprisingly way harder than it looks. Again, we're getting a little bit of leg, hip, core work, and also we're feeling a bit unstable. It's all part of the deal with these ones. All right, so 2 more sets. Let's get it. Again, trying to limit the rest. If you need any, we'll take it after the dips. Maybe a couple deep breaths. Maybe you want to just quickly swing out your arms because you are feeling numb. And then we will try to get going right into our third set. So we have 2 more that we are going to do. All right, so back into our 1-arm rows. So again, if you are using bands, we're going to loop the band underneath the foot. And then we have that same rotational work. Remember, we can always add more than 1 band under there. So if you have like a set of loop bands, you add 2 of them in there. It's going to make it just that much more heavy on that row. Because again, we want that 12 to be hard. We don't want to be thinking like, I could do 15, I could do 20. I want 12 to be it. So if you need to, remember that little optional pause that I talked about. We can add that in at the top and see if that makes us feel a little more worked at the end of our set. But again, some of us probably don't need to even think about adding a pause, especially with this combination of these dips here. You should be feeling all sorts of things in that upper body. All right, so we'll get through these guys. We have 1 more set to go and lots of time to do it. We have about 4 minutes until we should be starting the next part. So we'll take our sweet time on both of these. Although I know you just want to like get through those dips and just like rush through them, but take your time with it. We'll follow again that normal tempo. 2 seconds down, 2 seconds up. Even on that second side with the second leg up, when it's feeling like you just added a bunch of weight to your body, we'll try to breathe through those reps. Again, remember that exhale is always going to help you out. So if you ever need to push through a point in that rep that you don't think you're going to make it through, exhaling will probably get you through it. So we'll think about using that on our final set, because this is where we are. Last set of our rows. Okay, so 12. Maybe adding that 1 second, maybe even 2 second pause at the top, if we want it. Optional. Let's get it. Okay. So we'll finish strong on these 2. Rolling it out as even as possible on both sides. Even if you're feeling like that second side is a lot more challenging, we'll try to do the exact same thing that we did on the first side. Get through it, finishing off with our dips, which again, we are done with after this. This is going to be your final set of them, which is probably good news. These ones are pretty dang hard. All right, so last set. Deep breath. Again, set the shoulders back. We'll make sure the hips stay close to the bench. And lifting up that leg. And then going through our set of 6 with the 1 leg. Ooh, 6 with the other leg. And then, because we're feeling the upper, but we do have 1 more part to the upper body strength before we get our nice sweaty conditioning circuit in. So as you are finishing up your last set of dips, we'll grab some water, rest a little bit once we're finished. And we are going to put that chair aside, if I do believe, yes, we are going to move this guy aside. We will need it again for 1 exercise in our conditioning work, but we do not need it for this next part. Rather, we need space on our mat. So we will create that. Again, grabbing some water, taking about a minute to just rest your upper body. Woo, feeling all the things up there. Okay, so we are going to move on to our final part of our upper body strength, which will require dumbbells. We're going to have one exercise laying on our back using our dumbbells. And then we're also going to have one that is a specific band exercise. So I'm going to be using this medium strength loop band here. I'll keep it close. For those of you who do not have loop bands, I have my little shelf of equipment over here. We can always use a long band, which I will talk about. And then if you have none of the above, I want you to grab a towel or something that you can hold in your hands like this, okay? So we're going to start off with the first exercise, which is our dumbbell on the floor, laying on our back exercise. I'm going to be doing a combo move of a straight arm pullover and a tricep extension. So we're on our back. Make sure we have some space over our head, because straight arms are going to come back all the way until we almost touch the floor, and then we'll pull up straight over the shoulder, and then we'll bend the arm down to 90 degrees. Exhale, push up straight. That's 1. We're doing 8 of those total. So again, straight arms reaching back. Exhale, pulling over. That's a back focus, and then bending the elbows, pushing up with the triceps. That's 2. And again, we're doing 8 of these. Now, if your dumbbells that you're using are a little too heavy, these exercises, you might find one is a bit stronger than the other. So we're going to cater to the weaker one. Let's say the pullover, that one's typically the one that we can't do as much weight on. You can always put a dumbbell down, hold one sideways like this, straight arms, and then we can go through our tricep extension. Again, we just have to make sure that we do not hit ourselves in the head for both of these, but especially if you're using one, so it kind of crosses over your forehead. Again, if you don't have dumbbells, we're going to hold a band like this and go through, get our pullover, and then you can go through the tricep. Okay, ideally, again, we want something weighted in our hands, dumbbell, heavy water bottle, something like that. But if you don't have that as an option, then that's okay. So that's our first one. As you finish that one up, we're going to stand up for the second one, grab onto that band, and put it around our wrists like this. The second one here is going to start off in this 90-degree elbow position. So again, we want the band sort of where our watch would be over our hands. First one we're going to do here is opening up the arms like so that there's tension. We're moving the wrists and elbows at the same time. And then we straighten the arms, and we'll do a little pull apart out there. And we'll bring it back in, lift, out, lift. Both of those equals 1. We're doing 8 of them, same reps as the one down there. So this one is, which you probably, I don't need to say this, all about the shoulders. We're going to feel that shoulder burn going on pretty much the whole time through the back and sides of the shoulders. We'll go through, again, as controlled as possible, trying to separate these two movements. So we have this close one in, and then we have this straight arm one. There we go. 8 of them. Whew. Now, once you're finished that one, you're probably going to need to kind of shake it out, swing your arms out, take a couple deep breaths, because that one is a burner. Once you're done, we're going to get right back down there, again, with maybe less than 30 seconds in between our rounds. There's no prescribed rest, but I understand that that one really burns. We'll get back down, and we'll try to get going on our second set. We have our infamous 4 rounds of these two. So as you are feeling ready, which again, we'll try to keep that rest as minimal as possible, we'll go right back into our second set. So reminder, when we're going through the pullovers, we want to make sure our shoulders aren't floating off the mat like this. The first thing you want to do is pull the shoulders down onto the mat, which it might feel like you're sort of arching your back or pushing your back off the floor. That's a good thing in this one. We're not working the core here, so we don't need our low back pushed into the floor. What we need is to lose this space behind our shoulder. So you can pull the shoulders down and then see if that, usually it helps us feel a little stronger, but it's more importantly about shoulder safety, because if the shoulders are floating like this, then they're not in a very safe position to be going over the head with weight, especially when we're on our back. So that is a little tip that you can incorporate here. And then we'll just keep the shoulders pulled down the whole set. And Not only is that going to incorporate that upper back, but again, it's going to prevent any potential injuries, because we're not about that life. We don't want to hurt ourselves. We want to keep doing this all the time. Okay, so we want to keep intentionally hurting ourselves with these burning exercises like this next one. All right, so we'll go through our second set now. Again, if you don't have a loop band, I know that some of us just don't have those, you can do the same thing with a towel here. Again, just sort of open the elbows and then pull that band apart. In this one here, we'll add a little bit of that action in, and then this one here will just consciously sort of pull apart on that towel, but there's no movement, but we are tensing up and involving that upper back. Whereas that long band is going to be done quite similar to the loop band. You can wrap it around your hands if you need, and then again we have the opening and then the opening. 8 reps total. Let's do it. There you are. Awesome. Okay. Let's do it. Third set. So again, once you're finished this one, I know all you want to do is like slingshot this band away and be done. We have to do 2 more rounds. So we'll keep it close. We'll try to get going on our next set. Okay, so we get 8 of these guys. Trying to get, again, the whole arm moving, especially on this one. It can be sort of easy to move just the hands, but we want that entire elbow reaching out and away. Ooh, and yeah, maybe it's a little bit harder like that, maybe. But we always want to get the most out of these, right? We're not here to waste our time. Okay, so 8 burning reps. I guess technically it's sort of like a sneaky 16, if you want to look at it that way. Once you're finished that, then feel free to just do a quick set of these arm swings, which is going to help disperse that lactic acid or that burning sensation that you're feeling. And it's not required, but it just feels kind of good after doing that one. A few deep breaths, because we're going to need it. And then we will go into our third round. Again, back to that first one. Pull over to tricep extension. All right. So again, both of these are sort of combination moves, but this first one that we're doing on our back, we have 2 different muscle groups working. That pull over, straight arms, when we're pulling over here, should be feeling in your back muscles. And then the triceps, because we're bending the arm, moving through the elbow, we're feeling just the triceps, the back of the arms. And so we can think about that as we go through our set, that we should be feeling, again, those different things in each point of these exercises. So a combination move. There you go. 8 total. Very nice. Okay, so third set of this banded pull apart. Ooh, burning reps. Okay, so again, I'll try to breathe through these ones. Exhaling as we open up the hands. Inhaling between those reps. And counting out 8 total the entire time. We want to keep this band tight, especially because this one is such a burner. It can be very easy to bring the arms in and lose tension, as again, it's just your body's sneaky way of getting a little bit of rest. So we want to make sure that that does not happen. As much as it burns, we want to keep that band tight the entire time. Again, going wider and then coming back to that sort of shoulder width position, but never closer. Okay, I mean, you feel it. And I know, yeah, it feels nice to bring the hands close, but we want to keep that tension on the shoulders the whole time. So that is something to maybe think about on your last set. Because you have one more. So that is great news. We're going to finish up this final set. We have about 3 minutes until we should be done here and start talking about our last part, our conditioning. And then we are there. We are getting there. Okay. Get the shoulders in. Woo! Again, shake them out. When we're ready, trying to hustle. In the next minute here to start our final set. Again, setting the shoulders into the floor, going through that pullover, exhaling as we pull up, and then again, exhaling as we push those arms up. 8 total. So we'll try to stay as consistent and even as possible through all our reps. And again, we're going as low with those straight arms as we're comfortable with. Some of us might be able to go a little lower. Others might have to stop a bit sooner. Let's get it. Okay. So, final set. So we'll take about 1 more minute to finish up this last set. These 2. They're really nice. Okay, so as you are finishing up, once again, we're gonna just rest a little bit. If you want to swing out the arms or roll out your shoulders, grab some water, all that stuff. Now is your time to shine. We have about 1 minute until we are going to start talking about our final part, which is our conditioning. So you have the next minute here to finish up your last set of your burning band pull parts, and then rest a little bit as you are finishing up. While you do that, I am going to set up our timer, which is very simple today for me. All right, so we'll get this last setting, rest it out. As you are finishing up, we are going to need, again, that bench, that chair, ready to be used, rather, for our first exercise of this final circuit that we are going to do, which is all about us getting your heart rate up, the cardio, the conditioning. So first movement that we're going to do is a plank variation with our forearms on this bench or chair. So for our setup, we'll want to make sure that it is stable. Now this chair is not the most stable chair in the world, so I'm going to take it and push it into the wall so that it's not going anywhere. It's not going to slide out or leave me falling on the floor. It would not be the first time. Learn my lesson. So if that is your same situation, if your chair is a little unstable, you can push it into a wall. If you're using like a couch or something like that, you don't have to worry about it. First exercise, we're going to start talking about it. We're going to go through each of these 4 movements together right now. You can practice them with me, but we're not going to be on a timer yet. Our timer today is a 15-minute AMRAP, which is our as many rounds as possible acronym. So you're going to get these 4 exercises with a certain amount of reps on each, and you are going to complete as many rounds as you can in 15 minutes. So we're going to talk about these first, starting off with this one, which is our plank row. So we're going to get ourselves into this plank position. I have my dumbbell right here underneath me, and we're going to row in 5 times on each side. So this is going to be the first one. Again, you're not on a timer, but if you want to practice this one, feel it out, get yourself set up for it, you can start here. If you don't have the chair or bench, we're going to be down on the floor like this, going through, again, 5 reps on each side. So yes, you have to count. And yes, I will remind you of the reps for each of these, okay? So this is the first one. 5 of them. Second one is going to be a burpee. Woo! We're going to do a 1-leg burpee where we go hands on the floor, stepping out, and then we're going to step in and drive, woo, a little bit of balance, drive the knee up at the top. Same leg goes down, steps out. Other one comes up, that's 2. And then we go down. Okay, other one, drives the knee up. This right side's hard for me today. 3. We're doing 10 of those total. So that's our second one. Got this weird pop-up going. Okay, third one. I gotta double check with these ones. So again, I'll remind you of them. Power lunges. So we're jumping up into that lunge, 1 leg at a time, 15 on each side. So 15 on this side, Woo, leg burner, and then we'll go 15 on this side. I have some options for that one for the low impact, as well as to make it a little easier. It's pretty dang hard. Last one is a jumping jack. So we know these, we love them, maybe not, but we're doing 20 of those total. So plank rows to start. I'm gonna press start on this timer. We're gonna get you working, starting in about 10 seconds. So you can get yourself set up for your plank row. That's the first one. 5 on each side, starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. No beep, as it is a countdown clock. Okay, so again, we have 15 minutes on the clock. You're counting these reps, and we are gonna see how many rounds we can get. We'll talk a little bit about rest, but this first round, we're trying to get through these 4 movements as efficiently as possible, not taking any rest between them. If we need any, we're going to do it at the very end, after those jumping jacks. Okay, so again, 5 on each side, taking your time, 5 over here, 5 on the other, and then we'll go into those one-leg burpees. So hands down, we'll step out, step in, drive the knee up. Again, it might be a little wobbly, as you can see, and then we'll step up. Here we go. So again, a little coordination. Good morning, brain. We'll try to connect this all together. 10 total. So every time you drive the knee up, we'll count that as 1. And if you're doing this on like carpet, then you get even more challenge with the balance, which is already a challenge. All right, so we'll get through 10 of these total. Woo! So reading through these ones. They're kind of a nice, slower version of the burpee, but again, we have that single leg work and that stability work also going on at the top. So we'll get through these 10. As we finish those up, we're going right into the next one, which ideally we want to jump off the floor, 15 reps, driving that knee up. Now again, if you don't jump, we're going to just drive the knee. And if your legs are on fire, you're not going to make it because your legs are burning so much. Instead of the knee drive or the lunge, we can count out 15 of these guys. So 15 on this side, and then we can switch and do 15 on this side. Okay, because I get it. Your legs! First of all, after doing that sort of one-legged burpee, and second of all, if you were here for our lower body session, then you are feeling this a lot. So that is our third one. Final one is our jumping jack. Standard jumping jack, 20 reps total. So arms come up, trying to breathe, get these done as quick as possible, counting them 20 in and out as 1, 1, 2, 3, okay? Don't accidentally do 10, 20, and then we'll try to do it again. But again, if we need to take rest, if you're feeling real gassed when you finish those jumping jacks, you have an optional rest period. So we can take anywhere from 10 to 30 to 60 seconds if we need it. Keeping in mind, the more rest that we take, the less rounds that we're going to get, which is completely okay. Some of us, we're going to be worked and have a really good session here doing 3, maybe 4 rounds, whereas others are going to need to push for that maybe 5 or 6 sets of this in order to really get the benefit from it. It just depends on how you feel. If you're feeling ready, like you're ready to go, then go right into your second set, back into these plank rows. Okay, 5 on each side. But again, if you need to rest, take some deep breaths, grab some water. Woo! And then when you're feeling again like you're gonna be able to get through the set, we'll start that second round. All right. So we have just over 11 minutes of this 15 left. So look at us go. Lots of time to get through this. Again, we're going for at least 3 to 4 rounds of this. Okay, so you just did 1. We're going to try to see if we can get at least 3 more, which I know you can. But again, we got to push ourselves, try to get through these movements quickly, but with control, especially the one-legged burpee. We need the control over speed so we don't fall over. And then we will get going here and trying to get through these ones quickly. Now with these lunges, again, the legs, I get it. So something that helps, a little trick that I like to do when I'm doing this kind of stuff is count set to 5. Doing 5 of these, and then maybe just taking like a quick breath, and then doing another 5 and doing that 3 times. There's my 15, rather than, you know, having my reps be sort of like, I'm not really going as low, whereas the first ones you were going all the way down. We're going to try to keep those even. You want the reps to be consistent. So that little break within your set sometimes helps that be more possible. When your legs are burning. All right. So we'll get through this. And that final one are jumping jacks. Jumping around. And same rules apply. I kind of left you hanging there, but my low impact peeps, we're going to tap and lift the arms, counting out, again, 20 of those total. Woo! Here we are. So the second set here, we are probably going to feel this a lot more as we finish up these jumping jacks. So again, that rest period is always there, whether you didn't take it or you took it on the first set. If you took it on the first set, you're probably going to want to take it again right now. But if you sort of didn't take rest and you're feeling really like you need some, then take about 30 seconds, maybe 45. We'll try to keep it under a minute, but we'll take this time to reset and take those breaths and have a stronger set. Because if you rush right into your next set and you are huffing and puffing, you are gassed, then you're not going to have a very strong set. So again, we'll take a couple deep breaths and then we will do it again for our third round. So again, we're trying to go for minimum 4. And you have 8.5 minutes left. So we're just over halfway there, which is plenty of time to get at least 2 more sets in. So maybe we're going for 5. Yeah, let's do it. Okay. So I want to talk quickly about this first exercise. So same rules apply with the feet, with the legs, and our plank rows. On your next couple sets, if we are wanting to make this a little harder, slowing down makes this a lot more challenging. So pulling in, and again, either holding or simply just slowing down that row. We want to keep the hips stable. So if we have our feet closer, it's going to be a lot more challenging to avoid this hip tilt. Whereas if we widen up our feet, it's going to feel a bit more manageable. So again, that's something that we can control to give ourselves that nice strong hip position, especially as we are getting tired. Okay, so we are officially halfway through this. We have 7 minutes and 15 seconds left to do it. To breathe through it. Okay, so we'll get through these ones. There we are, getting those lunges in. Okay, so then we'll try to connect the arms and the legs as we go through. 15 on each side, and that goes if you're jumping, if you're not jumping. We'll try to work through those ones. Get them done as quickly as possible. There we are. And then we have the jumping jacks, which are, I don't want to say the easiest ones of these. I mean, they're probably the most simple and they don't burn your legs like crazy, so maybe they are the easiest. So we'll try to get them done as fast as possible. Thinking about smaller hops in your feet, but faster jacks. We're trying to move the arms, the legs quicker. 20 of them. Again, here. So we'll try one more set in this one, and that little rest period, maybe 1 to 2 more rounds of this fun stuff. There you go. Jumping jacks. So same idea I was sort of talking about here as you finished your second set. We can go right into our third, or sorry, our third, go right into our fourth, or we can take a little bit of time if we need it, so that we can make those rows maybe a little bit more challenging. Maybe walk our feet closer together, or overall just have more control over those hips, trying to keep them more stable. 5 minutes left, my friends. So we are much more than halfway there. We're in the home stretch now, finishing up our final set, or 2 sets maybe. There we go. Okay. 10 of the burpees, 15 of the lunges, 20 jacks. You got it. Hopefully you caught on to that little pattern there. It's easier to remember the reps if there's a pattern or if they're all the same. So have that in there. Okay, so we'll push through this. I'm trying to have control. 4 minutes left on these movements. Okay, I'm trying to breathe through these. Pace yourself so that you don't have to stop or slow down when you're doing it, except potentially on the lunges, because we know that they are burning fire in the legs. Okay, so we'll try to be as strong as possible. Get that knee up to the top, arms and legs working together. And I know it burns, it's challenging. Maybe you don't want to jump all the way up, but you know you're going to feel way better if you do. And if you push yourself, and if you force yourself low-key into doing a little bit more than you want to do. We have just over 3 minutes, which is like pretty much enough time for you to maybe finish this set, maybe get 1 whole more round in, depending on, of course, how much rest you take. But regardless of where you are, we are going right to the end. So until you hear the alarm in 3 minutes go off, I want you to keep working, okay? Even if you're like halfway through or something like that, we will push through this. Okay. There you go. Jumping jacks, let's get it. All right, and then we are going to see if we can get 1 more set in. So we will, again, a couple of deep breaths, maybe a very quick sip of water. 2.5 minutes left. We'll see if we can get going into our last set. Maybe set number 5 for some of us, maybe set 6 for others, maybe even 4 for some of us. Wherever you are, even if you're not counting, you don't have to count your sets. Maybe you lost count, that's okay too. We are going to push through this final set. I will give you, again, that countdown time so that you can make it even as you maybe approach your lunges. But we're going to push through and see if we can get through this entire round, all these 4 movements. We have just under 2 minutes. It's not going to be easy to get these ones in, but if you go fast, move your body, really tap into that uncomfortable feeling, because I know you want to stop. But we're going to push through this and get through another 1.5 minutes of these movements. All right, so we'll hustle through those 1-legged burpees, 10 of them. There we are. Awesome. Okay, so we'll get those guys done. Lunges, the burning ones, pushing through this. Okay, we'll try to keep working here. Again, getting all 15 in our rest, not taking the time between, no matter how we feel, because you have 60 seconds left. All right, so we're going to push through this, try to get these in on both legs, and then jump jack our way to the finish line if we have time for it. There you are. Okay, so breathing through these. 30 seconds left, my friends. There we go. Okay, so again, we are all working until the end. If you are like just starting one of these exercises, feel free to finish the count on the reps. If you're just starting your lunges, you can go ahead and finish your 15 and do the other side. This timer is going to go off in 10 seconds, okay, which very well means that we can all stop and rest and do nothing. And time. Oh, my ringer is off, but time. Imagine an alarm going off. Okay, so, woo, we are done, my friends. What we're going to do right now is rest, which you are definitely feeling like you need. So we're going to take some time to just move around the space that we have. Take some breaths because we need them. We're going to get all that oxygen in there. We just used it all in these cardio movements. So we'll try to calm ourselves down more than anything else. And we know that that happens most efficiently and safely if we still are moving. So go for a little lap around your room, your house, whatever it is. Take some steps side to side. Bring your water bottle with you. Okay, drink some of that. Take deep breaths into your belly rather than those shallow chest breaths. Just try to calm down. We're going to talk about some stretches that I would like you guys to do. That starts off with our lower body, with our calves. We just did quite a bit of jumping around, but I don't want you to join me on these until you feel back to earth, back to normal, until you could hold down a conversation without, again, having to huff and puff and breathe heavy, okay? So again, if you need a little bit more time, take another minute, maybe even 2 minutes to yourself and just try to bring it on back down to a normal level. Some of us might need a little longer than others, but you know how you feel, okay? So once you're feeling okay, like, you know, you're gonna make it, we are gonna stretch out our calves, bringing ourselves to a wall and getting into this lunging position. So we wanna make sure that we have that back foot facing forward. We don't have an angle out in our toes, because this doesn't allow us to stretch that calf muscle that runs down the lower back of the leg. So we'll feel this. And if you're not feeling it, then you can lunge forward a little bit more. My chair's sort of in the way here. But we can lunge forward, and we should get that stretch down that calf in the back. And we're going to hold this here for about 30 seconds. So just, again, when you're feeling okay, you can come on and join me. Find yourself a wall or a chair or something to put your hands on, and then we'll get into this sort of shallow lunge, feeling that stretch in the calf. 30 seconds on this one. The next one we're going to do is the back of the leg and the back of the hip. We're just going to straighten out that leg and push the hip back. So we'll feel our butt being stuck out behind us, getting a stretch down the back of the glute, and then a lot of stretch in the hamstring on that front leg. My leg in the front here is not locked out. I want it slightly bent, but by pushing my hips back, I'm feeling, again, that hamstring and back of the hip open up. 30-second hold for the hip. We'll hold this one here, the hamstring, woohoo, and we'll hold it and breathe into it. Still might feel a little bit of stretching action in the calf, but again, we're focusing now on this front leg. So once that 30 seconds is up, which is in about 10 seconds, if you join me, we are doing this, we're going to switch sides. So we'll come out of that one and we'll switch sides, starting again with that calf. I'm just going to move this slightly to the side, yes. Okay, so we'll do the calf to start stretching out. I don't know if that is, I just stepped in something sticky. I don't even know what happens in this corner of the house, but you know, a little sticky situation on the floor. You never know with my niece and nephew. So we're going to hold this here 30 seconds. And then again, if you join me, we'll go into the second one, pushing the hip back, straightening out this front leg. And again, they shouldn't be painful, just tension. You should just feel that tight feeling through the back of the hip and leg. And as we sit in it, we might feel a little looser, more comfortable, and we'll hold this here. And this feels quite nice after that little leg, sneaky leg stuff that we had in our conditioning work today. So that 30 seconds is up. We'll come out of that one. The next one we're going to do, very important to do, is for our posterior chest and shoulders. I'm going to bring myself to this wall here. Put both hands up, so one's on each side of the wall. Door frame is even better. So if you have a door frame somewhere close to you, you can put one hand on the door frame on each side, and then just lean into the door frame. If you don't have any of the above, just put your hand on a wall, and then we'll turn our body away from that hand and wall. We're doing one side at a time if you don't have, again, that corner or that door frame, so it's a little bit more efficient if you do, but it's okay if you don't. So we'll hold this here 1 minute with the arms straight across out of the shoulder. Same idea, we should feel the tension, no pain, not overstretching, not like we're pulling anything. If that's happening, then we'll just widen up our hands and maybe ease off that forward knee. So we'll breathe into this. And this one's really important for posture. We did all that stuff to work our back muscles and our upper back, but it doesn't matter. If we're tight in the front here, we're always going to be this sort of forward, hunched over, because this is what happens every day in life. And if we're not stretching and opening up and being conscious of it, then we'll just stay here. And this doesn't look good, doesn't feel good. So we'll take this time here, holding this stretch. Okay, and then what I want you guys to do is come out of the door frame or off the wall as we finish up that minute, which is like now, and then we'll reach behind our back and interlace our fingers and open up, straighten out our arms to get a nice deep stretch, more focused on the shoulders now. So we'll feel this a bit more in the shoulders than the chest. Don't get me wrong, you're still gonna feel your chest, but we should feel that opening through the front of the shoulders, the arms, and we're gonna hold this for about 30 seconds. So we'll breathe into this one, trying to exhale and relax the shoulders. Taking a few more deep breaths. There's one more that I'm going to show you while you hold this here. This last one we're going to do is in front. So you can release those arms, interlace in the front, and then we're going to spread the shoulders apart, opening up that upper back, tucking your chin towards your chest, back of the neck, upper back, shoulders. He's opening up. So we'll finish this off with bending down, rounding our back, and release your hands, and then we'll feel this nice stretch in the low back, maybe a little in the hamstrings, and the back of the neck. And we'll hold this here for really as long as we want. So you can stay here for 10 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute, okay? You don't have to actually get close to the floor or touch your floor, but we will feel that stretch through our back. All right, you, my friends, are done with me. Hopefully feel good. You will, after you've sort of calmed down, had a shower, grabbed some food, got to work, whatever it is. Thank you so much for joining me for another session, and I will hopefully see you guys next time, tomorrow. Have a great day, my friends. And my replay watchers, if you're watching this, if you are still here, drop a comment below, hit the like button so that I know you did this and I know you were here and I know that you got this in. Okay, I'll see you guys next time.